Now I bring in Texas Republican Congressman Pat Fallon. Well, Congressman, it's actually a little bit tamer statement from the former president than I expected. He has always, he has had several electrifying statements that he's made about people before, but that one I thought was, I expected, it was a tamer statement than I expected out of him.
Well, Greta, it was measured, but it was also very defiant. And he's, what Alvin Bragg has done, and I think this is going to backfire horribly on him, he's made President Trump an incredibly sympathetic figure to some folks that maybe were thinking and looking elsewhere for who they were going to cast their ballots for in the primary come next year. And this is a rallying cry to everyone because it is so incredibly unjust. I think that as a president politically, he did a very good job, an excellent job, and I'd love to see him serve for 4 more years. And I think this is going to add fuel to that effort.
All right. Well, since this is about hush money, hidden hush money, at least that's the allegation, and of course, how it was paid for, how it was reflected on business records. I boxed in Congressman Darrell Issa on this. Is that Congress has got a little issue of its own, where hush payments have been paid over the years, and that has been, and that's everyone knows that's been done. It was done out of taxpayer money, but the names of the people who were involved, the members of Congress, Republicans and Democrats, has been kept quiet from the rest of the American people. Why not? This is a great moment of transparency. Let's lay out all the cards. Why not the Republican House of Representatives? Let's unseal those records. Let's see what's going on, because apparently it's not so unusual.
Greta Van Susteren, that's a great idea, and I'm 100% behind that, because it's disgusting to have something like that happen, where you're using somebody else's money for something that you did and then you settled. That's one of the reasons why I ran for Congress, because things like that have to stop. Just because you're a member of Congress doesn't mean you're above the law. And in Donald Trump's case, just because you're a former president of the United States doesn't mean you're below the law either. But I think transparency should be equal and it should be across the board. And I would definitely urge our Republican leadership to do just that.
Well, I hope you do that. And just sort of an aside is that, I realize that, going into the weeds of what the illegality of this may be, I haven't seen the indictment yet, so I'm not sure. I'm guessing is that there were false entries made in the corporate records. But as an aside, at least if this did happen, if all this did happen, at least Trump's paying with his own money. The members of Congress who did that, they were using our money to do it, to pay off. That's to me is like, it's a different issue, but to me that's worse.
Yeah, no, it definitely is worse. And so let's just say, for instance, there was an entry that was mistaken. That's an accounting ledger. That's a civil matter. And Donald Trump is the CEO of the company, didn't handwrite it in there. That's silly.
Well, that's not exactly. I can give you a hypothetical where it isn't. Where it's not just a civil matter. If there's an intent to, defraud,
Sure.
I can give you a hypothetical, and I don't know what it is, and I'll wait for the evidence. But my viewpoint on this is that, I really believe in the system, and it's really troubling to me if you've got a situation where you've got a ton of money being poured into a DA's account from a particular party, of someone, an opposition party, and you've got a former DA who looked at it and said, this is a no-go. You've got a federal prosecutor that looked at it. For a federal prosecutor, they said a no-go. Then you've got the FEC saying it's a no-go. And then you indict this. And when you've got so many more, the prosecutorial discretion is the ability to make good judgment that, is this really the best thing for the system? Does this really advance justice? Or is this, as to quote the title of Alan Dershowitz's book, Get Trump? And does that foster confidence in the system? I don't think so.
No, I fully agree, because, again, as you said, there was a pattern here that many different entities looked at this matter and found that there was nothing criminal to pursue. And again, I find it very ironic that Alvin Bragg himself in 2022 suspended his own investigation because he felt clearly at the time there was nothing there. So what changed? And I guess, again, once the indictment's unsealed, we'll find out more. But if Mr. Cohn is going to be a witness here, his own attorney called him a serial liar. So that's not exactly.
Wait a second. This is like a defense lawyer's dream. He's got a conviction for perjury, and the first thing you say on cross-examine, I use the same Michael Cohen who previously said you lied under oath, and so now you come into court today. You're not lying under oath today, so now we're supposed to believe you because somehow you saw the light. When I was a defense lawyer, I would have killed to have a prosecution witness like that. That's like you don't get kind of things like that.
You're a convicted liar. You're a convicted felon. Your own attorney. now that you released him from attorney-client privilege, called you a serial liar. But now we're supposed to believe you. Now you're telling the truth because you and your former boss had a falling out. It is. I mean, it's a softball with the wind blowing out. You know, it's crazy.
Oh, I hope you have. I hope you have an appointment tomorrow with Speaker McCarthy about my suggestion. Like, let's get transparency and let's see. You know, Republicans and Democrats. Anyway, Congressman Pat Fallon, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Greta. God bless.